Hello, my sisters, my brothers. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Got a wonderful message for you today. It's my daily campaign talk to become the next senator from the state of Minnesota. And since I don't have any money or any other way of advertising, I do this, and I want you to know about me each and every day, how I'm thinking about the various conditions that we have to deal with in life as Minnesotans and as people of this nation and as people of this world. And so I want you to know about me. I'm coming to you saying we can fix these things. And I don't want you to have heard some sound bite about me or where somebody tried to dig up on me as being dirt. I want to share with you each and every day as I possibly can, or having something different to say, so that you will understand me and the recognition that wherever I'm coming from, I cannot go there alone. This is not a mission of me. This is a mission of us, we the people, being redirected according to our thinking process to do those things that will produce something that's much better than that we receive presently. I want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, back in the day, a long time ago, we used to have heroes. Back in the day, coming up in the South and seeing all the Westerns on television, we used to play the Lone Ranger, Jesse James, Flash Gordon. We played all those kind of jungle gems, pretending to be something that we really weren't. But we had recognized and got a vision from it, so we strived to try to do those things. And I used to think, out of all the heroes that everybody had, I had one major hero, and that was Jesus. Don't ask me why, but Jesus was just too much. I mean, I don't care where you are. And even in the fictitious things today, it appears almost as if they're the same kinds of things that Jesus was doing in his day. And for those of you who don't know that much about Jesus, just think about Bruce Lee. It seems as he was walking on waters that were higher than the norm at that particular time. And so Jesus was walking so high till all of the powers that I could ever think about would fall somewhere under the category of how Jesus would look at it. You know, I want to share this message with you, and I want to give it some kind of perimeter for understanding. Let's just think, if you will, and come on and go with me, that there's one man on earth. This man is responsible for everything. Everything. He's responsible for survival. And the things of survival has to do with food and clothing and shelter. So this man, this one man, has got to be responsible for all of that. Has to be responsible for educating himself by trying things that he'd never tried before, not knowing what the outcome was going to be, but just had to do it because something had to be done. And did it. Had to be responsible for everything. Food, clothing, housing, now he's the education. And after accomplishing all of that, has to be prepared for any sickness, for any disease that might come upon him. So now all of a sudden he's a doctor. He's a health provider. He's all of these things. And one morning he awakes, and there's another party, a female, a human being, just like the man, and has the same requirements for survival as the man. Now, the man has got to stretch his responsibilities to cover two. Got to stretch your responsibilities to cover two. But you got a little help. However, you just break it down or how the help comes through, you decide, but you got some help. So they kind of help you a little bit. The pain is not as much as it could have been. And see, here's the state that we all find ourselves in life. But let's say this family doesn't stop there. Next thing you know, you got kids. Kids, mind you. And to make the long story short, let's say he got several kids. Now, And for a while there, this man is responsible for stretching all that he can be, all that he can do, to all of that. What once was done for himself as an individual, now he has to do it for a spouse and all their children. But time intervenes, and these children grow up. And so what this man begins to do is to distribute the different tasks that has got to be covered, that he has been covering himself all this time, to the various individuals in the child family, and allowing each one to do that which they like most. And so now what one man used to do, it is distributed amongst all. And so this one man can just have to do one thing, or just might be able to supervise, depending on how many children he got, the workings of others. But what are they doing? They're each playing a role in the process of what makes that family work. They're each playing a role that they chose to because that's what they like doing most. And they play that one role. They don't have to do everything their dad did. They just play their one role. And each of them play a major part in the fulfillment of that house. So what do you have? You have all kind of time now for vacations, to travel and do certain things. And yet you don't have to worry about food, clothing, and shelter, because each one of these got the responsibility of seeing that that's done. And because they see that it is done, then neither one of them have to worry about any of the other things, because people are constantly seeing that they are done, and this house works well together. Well, see, I say that because in my recognition and respect for Jesus, for even though I've learned now that most people don't really believe in Jesus anymore, and they think that it's just a hand-me-down of traditional stuff that's been happening since the beginning of time. However they want to come up with it, they come up with it, and they don't believe in Jesus. And to me, people say, well, do you believe in Jesus? This is what I say. I believe in God. I know there's a God. I know what God is, I don't know, but I know there is a God. And based upon the God that I know, if that God determined that it was essential to have a Jesus, it could be just like that. So it's not did Jesus, but could Jesus. And I'm here to prove that Jesus could be, because that's my hero. Now, I don't have, and I never will, but have the capability to make the lame walk, the blind to see, the deaf and the dumb to hear and to speak. I will never be able to do that. But based upon where I'm at today, I can tell you that doctors, all the medical professions, they are geared toward doing all of that. That one man Jesus could do, now we got a whole profession, a healthcare profession, medical profession. To do what? To make sure that the people of this city, this state, this nation, and ultimately the people of the world have health care. That's our duty. That's our one responsibility in all society, is to make sure that that is available to all human beings, health care. And Jesus might be able to take a few loaves and a few fish and feed thousands. I can't do that. But there's a system that's set up where brothers and sisters are in the profession of providing for all of the food, all of the clothing, all of the shelter that people are required to do. It's all broken down to those who love doing it. And that's their only contribution to the product, the finished product of peace on earth, prosperity on earth. This is their role, joy in life. And why? What's their benefit from it? All of the other things that's in society that anybody could ever want for survival is right here at their disposal. Why? Because it's a family. And everybody playing a role in a successful family, in a successful house. Nobody's here exploiting. Nobody here is believing that someone is more important than they are, that they deserve more. Oh, yes, we used to believe that. We used to believe that, but we see where it got us. And we're making an educated, a spiritual decision to cut it out, because we're tired of it. We are tired of it. We have seen how low we can go, and this is just too low. And so I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, to consider coming on up out of there. And let's take this someplace where it's never been before. Let's bring peace to America. Let's show people how to wipe out racism. Not by force, not by law, but by eliminating the fears that they have, and satisfying their egos so that the almighty love is held up as supreme. Not me, not you, but all of us. And any of us left out is an indication that we fall short of love. So I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, the same thing we have to do in school, in every institution, to make this thing short, is designed to meet the needs of the human population. Even the workforce is set up in their makeup to play a major part, a certain part, in this process. And having the obstacles removed, then we would have more than we would call efficient or sufficient to meet the needs of the labor force. That would open it up for people to have all kinds of leisure time, to travel and see the wonderful world, to travel and visit friends of long times ago, to see, look, places you never even dreamed of starts coming up. That this is what this job thing, this career thing is all about. Producing. Now, when I want to say this, when you bit off the bait, I mean, you were fished out of this situation. This is the way it was originally intended. We were fished out some other way a long time ago, but I like to bring it to the point where you can understand. We were fished out by saying that certain things were for some people and they were not for other people. And if you were ever to get into these things, you're going to have to jump through the hoops that have been set up for you to have to do it. And the hoops were set up that you had to have money. And so you were debating whether to go that way or to stay the family kind of way that was being interrupted with lies and deception. And see, they start dropping that money on the end of a hook. And you grab a little bit. And you see if you can do some certain things with this money now because you're falling in line with the loopholes. And so you start trying to grab more money, fishing, being trapped. Each time that money traps you, brings you further and further from the truth of life and starts putting you in some secret life. And this is what goes on all around the world. And it comes by, supported by lying, by cheating, by stealing, by gambling. You know the story. By selling weapons, by using the weapons, terrorism and wars, all these things predicated on this money system. Because this money system has divided the people from the basic principles of life. This campaign is about bringing it back. So when I say you work, I basically mean you do those careers as I've just explained them. And what person in the family getting money doing the things for the family? Nobody gets money for doing the things for the family. They get the benefit of the things that are done by the family. And so this is what I'm trying to get you to see. The Spirit of Jesus Christ would say, in order to bring peace, in order to bring prosperity to all of you, not to some of you, but to all of you, and to give you the joy of life, you have to start doing things that promotes that. And that is as I have described it to you. And forget about this thing that divides us, which is money, controlled by private interests, who weigh everything on money, even to be God themselves. Now, I tell you, for those of you who are listening to me right now, let me say this to you. I don't know, you heard me say, I don't know what God is, but I know there's a God. And I know that because of certain things that have happened to me that I don't know of happening to other people. I'm sure many of these same kinds of things have happened to others. But the evidence proves to me that there's a God. And this God that I know of is the God of love. I know of another God, a God of hate. And I knew of that God before I knew of this God of love. Because I was a physical manifestation of hate. Not that I was born with hate. It was a thing that society created within. And so what I have learned now is this. I don't know if God is a man. I've heard people say it, but what I know about society, they just can't convince me of nothing. They might say it's a woman. Some even say it's an alien. And to me, I don't care if it's a man, a woman, or alien, or what. It is superior to me. And I owe it my allegiance. And it tells me that in order for me to really, really, really enjoy this life, that means we all got to really, really, really enjoy this life. I don't know why we can all be doing so good, and some pain, some little suffering can cause one individual, and if I know about it, it will mess me up, because I know that has got to be dealt with. And that's the way. Can you imagine how I feel about people in Haiti? The people who are in our ghettos, who living across the track, who fighting for $15 an hour, that will gain them really nothing out of this big robbery that has taken place out of selfishness and deception. No, my friends, I didn't mean to talk this long. I just wanted to share with you this guy who wants you to make him senator by write-in. Not going to be on the ballot. You got to remember my name. You got to hear what I'm talking about. And you got to be impressed by what I'm talking to you about, because it is the same thing that's deep in you. You might have gotten to the point now that you don't believe in that kind of stuff anymore, but I want to take you back there. This stuff is real. The reason you stopped believing in it is because you expected somebody else to do it, and that didn't happen. I want you to know that you got to do it. You got to do it, and you are not alone. You'll be surprised when you do it. You look around and you'll see so many yous till it'll seem like everybody. And all of a sudden, what seemed to have been so hard will be so simple and so easy. And you're going to benefit from that. You. So I want to be the next senator, but I'm not going trying to deal with the kinds of things that Minnesotans are talking about if it has nothing to do with the progression of life and prosperity for all of the citizens. Whoever talks that way, that's where I'm going. And if they don't go that way, I'm going that way. And if I have to go that way alone, I go that way alone. In a case where somebody say, well, compromise, the one that is closer to the directive path of life, I have to support that. But I'm still stepping out on the best that we can come up with so far. Now I'm hoping that we can reach this, and as soon as we do, I hope somebody else, if I'm still living, I hope there's somebody else that's ready to take us a step higher in freedom, in life. I want to free people who are in bondage. I want to free people from hate. Hate is just clutching them. It's not good enough just call them names. You got to recognize that there is something there. There's a cancer there that's eating at their souls, that's driving them to hate, to bigotry. Something is doing that to them. And those of us who are victims of it, yeah, we see them as something that we just can't stand. But love says more than we just can't stand you. Love means there's something about you that has got to be fixed. And it ain't about trying to beat you or punish you into something. It's trying to find out where you are being robbed of your love, where you've been robbed of your joy, where you are being robbed, and fix that hole so you don't feel that way. And that'll cure the patient. I see it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be president in 2020, because I want to take this conversation that I'm having with you today a step higher. All, not just the Congress, but through the nation. Give me that platform. Let me take it to the nation, and let the nation see it as we are getting to see it today. And I tell you, this nation starts becoming a family. This nation starts becoming one for all, and all for one. This nation in our lifetime, when we've deceived ourselves to think that we were the best, most powerful, most God-fearing nation on the face of the earth, only to find out we just as weak as every other nation. But we recognize that, we admit that, and we make the decision that we're not going to stay here, that we're going to rise just like the tide, And it's going to be a decision that we made, not beat down, not threatened. A decision that we made, expressing what we want to be and what we want to see and what we demand by our activities. And then we're going to do it. And then we can look at each other in the face. Look at them in the eyes, regardless of what shade they might be, whatever color their skin might be, whatever texture their hair might be, or how tall they are, or how short they are, or how slim they are, how fat they are, and say, brother, right on. Boy, I'm telling you, if that could happen in my lifetime, woo-wee! But the power to make it happen is in your hands. The evidence is there. All of everything that is required for it to happen is there. The only thing that's missing right now is you putting it into action. Just think about it. Heaven can be bring right here on earth. Start here in Minnesota and in America and throughout the world. By your hand. Your hand. Your hand. Not that you're more special than any other people that ever lived before, or that you'll be more special than any of the people to come. But right now, you can be special. Right now, you can be special. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have a nice day, nice night, whatever. And I'm also recognizing that I must say to you, this is the only advertising I get, except going on the streets, writing my little signs, trying to see if I can get some attention. But I know, I'm counting on this message overwhelming you, just like maybe as essential to your being as the blood that flows through your veins, because you decided, and it will be. So that you would share this information with others, to your friends, call up some people and share with them, because they never heard of this before. I know they haven't. And we got 3.5 months here in the state of Minnesota to convince a whole state of people, when they can just turn their TV on and hear something about this candidate or hear something about that candidate. But here's what, ladies and gentlemen, you only heard these sound bites. You know me. I gave you about 20-something minutes this day. I had nothing to do with yesterday or what you going to get tomorrow if I'm around. But I bet you don't know them like you know me. Think about it. Until next time, bye-bye.